The new season of Summer House premieres tonight, and Paige DeSorbo sat down with Elle magazine just in time for the premiere. I'm Kajal Dashti. If you love all things Bravo like I do, hit the follow button for more stories. Paige gets into a lot in this article, not only about Giggly Squad and the new season of Summer House, but she kind of touches on her breakup with Craig. Paige talked about the shift in turning 30, saying that people treat you differently. They expect different things from you, and when you're a guy, they don't. She talks about the double standards she's observed, saying, I have a ton of guy friends who are turning 40, single, no kids, and it's like, you're such a hot bachelor. I mentioned I want to get a second cat, and it's like, she's crazy. The expectations in question are mostly about marriage and motherhood, and at 32, Paige is bucking any related stereotype. She's newly single, living alone in a CB2 designed dream apartment, and her career is skyrocketing. Her podcast tour with co-host Hannah Berner, who was also on Summer House with her before, sold out Radio City Music Hall twice, and the duo has an advice book coming out in April. Paige has been on Summer House since 2019, and it's where she publicly cemented her friendship with Hannah, her Giggly Squad co-host. Now, Summer House is about to premiere its 9th season. According to the journalist who wrote this Elle magazine article, she said that Paige is so busy that she barely had time to hop on a Zoom chat with me between a Galentine's-themed Amazon Live and a fitting at Christian Siriano ahead of the designer's New York Fashion Week show, where Paige would sit front row alongside Katie Holmes and Julianne Hough. Fashion lover through and through, she'll soon be launching a curated collection at DSW, much like Ariana Madix, and she teases a mystery design project coming later this year. I really feel like it's my baby, she says, noting it's been in the works for the better part of 2 years. Talking to Paige is like listening to her podcast Giggly Squad, which is to say you feel like you've gone from strangers to fast friends in about 5 minutes. Shortly after starting the interview, we're laughing about how she faked her way into the style world. The Anna Delvey of fashion, she quips about herself. Now, appropriately, Paige and Hannah's hit show gets its name from a pejorative comment that fellow Summer House castmate Kyle Cook threw at the pair while they were laughing during a dinner scene in season 4. The Giggly Squad podcast is a mix of unfiltered, lighthearted banter between two besties, as well as a more serious confessional conversation. Paige seems intent on closing the gap between her access as a celebrity and who she feels she is at her core, just a girl. A girl who grew up right outside of Albany, New York, falling in love with fashion because of her stylish mom and attempting to recreate the outfits she saw in magazines with Forever 21 finds. A girl who started out as an assistant to a VP at ABC News and had dreams of being a reporter. A girl who now has a massive platform, 1.4 million followers on Instagram alone, and can say the things out loud that other girls are thinking. In a September episode of Giggly Squad, Paige spoke about having a panic attack for the first time in her life right before going on stage to perform. In another, she disclosed that she had been in an abusive relationship when she was 19 years old, something that had previously been a source of shame for her. Paige said, I had the same personality back then as I do now, and I think all my friends saw me as like, oh, well, Paige is so confident and she wouldn't let a man tell her anything, but I did. After both episodes, she says she received an outpouring of support from women who had similar experiences, saying, our listeners really helped me more, I think, than I helped them. These conversations have created an intimacy between Paige and Giggly Squad listeners, nicknamed Gigglers, that she says she doesn't have with Summer House fans. After all, it was the Giggler FLOTUS interns who got her and Hannah an invite to the White House last year. She said, when girls come up to me on the street, if they say they're a Giggler, I'm immediately like, we're the same person, she says. Whereas if someone comes up and says, I love you on Summer House, I'm like, thank you so much. On Summer House, people are getting a highly curated version of her, but on Giggly Squad, you're getting all of me, she says, unedited and exactly what I thought in that moment. Maybe that's why Paige sees Giggly Squad and fashion as her professional focuses rather than reality TV. She tells Elle that the podcast is her safe space and that she and Hannah will do Giggly Squad till they're literally 85. They already have tons of ideas of ways that the brand could spin off into other ventures. TV shows, a podcast network, a platform to elevate other women's voices. The sky's the limit. But when Elle asked about the future of Summer House and specifically her own longevity as a cast member, Paige is unbothered. She said, I never tried to be on reality TV, so I'm not trying to stay on it either. It fit in my life perfectly when I started, and if it continues to fit, then I'll continue to do it. Paige understands that there will probably be a day where she isn't interested in going out to the Hamptons every single weekend and binge drinking 3 nights in a row because, as she puts it, I'll die. She also knows that with or without her, Summer House will survive because there's always going to be degenerate 20-year-olds that want to party. Maybe one day the show will be canceled. Maybe there will be a city-centric spinoff at some point, a la The Valley. she's open to it all. Now, Summer House Season 9, which premieres tonight, will be for the girls, or at least that's how Paige experienced it in real time. She says that watching fellow castmate Lindsay Hubbard, whom she has historically had a contentious relationship with, go through her first pregnancy brought them closer. Paige said, "I'd never really been around a pregnant person before where I'm seeing them weekly. We were watching her grow, asking her all of these questions." It also didn't hurt that Lindsay's pregnancy was a perfect excuse for staying in and bed rotting, the activity that Paige and fellow Summer House stars Amanda Batula and Sierra Miller tend to favor over going out, aka my spirit animals. Paige fondly recalls a moment during filming when two new cast members on Summer House, both women, were arguing about something while she and Lindsay stood off to the side. Paige said, "I was just like, Lindsay, they could never be us, never fight like us." It was funny to see how full circle we've really come. We had such a girl summer, and I don't think the boys really even picked up on what was going on with us. As Paige's friendships were gelling together in new and profound ways last summer, her romantic life was careening towards a fissure. Paige dated fellow Bravo star Craig Conover, a core cast member on Southern Charm, for 3 years. The pair was beloved by fans who were eager to see them move in together and get married. And then suddenly, Paige announced their breakup on her podcast at the end of December 2024. She spoke lovingly of Conover, calling him the best boyfriend she's ever had, and framing their decision to part ways as a matter of mismatched visions of the future. Paige said, "I love him. I think he loves me. I think we will remain friends. No one did anything. I think we were both just being really mature and saying what we want and what we didn't want." But being in a public relationship can be a boon for a star's personal brand, but it also comes with rabid fan surveillance, and fans are notoriously fickle. After Paige and Craig's split became public, people became ravenous, hunting for a villain. Fans deduced that Paige had been the one to initiate the breakup, and rumors began swirling. Had Paige immediately moved on with a new boyfriend? Had she cheated on Craig? On an early February episode of Giggly Squad, Paige addressed the online backlash, categorically denying it all. She said, "In the 3 years that I dated my ex-boyfriend, I never physically cheated on him, emotionally cheated on him. I did not move on with some new guy. I am single. I don't have a new boyfriend. I decided that I did not want to go forth with that relationship, but no one was blindsided. No one was cheated on." During that same podcast episode, Paige said that she wouldn't be speaking about the breakup again, but thanks to the Bravoverse, the speculation will likely continue. Viewers can retroactively trace the cracks in Paige and Craig's relationship on the current season of Southern Charm, and they will be able to do the same throughout Season 9 of Summer House. Just last week, February 6th, Craig appeared on Watch What Happens Live and spoke about the breakup from his perspective in a now viral clip, saying that they quote-unquote didn't want different things, she just wanted other people, and that's fine. A mid-season trailer for Southern Charm shows Craig talking to his castmates about the fact that he had bought an engagement ring for Paige, and a scene at the very end of the Summer House premiere is likely to raise even more eyebrows and inquiries. Paige did decline to comment on the breakup or Craig's recent comments for this interview. Instead, she focused on her next chapter both personally and professionally. When Elle asked what she might want from a future romantic partner, she does not mince words. Nothing. I want literally nothing from them. What she means is that she wants a relationship that just fits. Her panic attacks were a very big wake-up call that encouraged Paige to take stock of her life and what might not be working. She said, "I feel like if you make a hard decision for yourself, the universe really does reward you. As long as I keep making decisions that are good for me and are good for my career and good for my relationships, the universe will put it on a silver platter and give it to me." This core belief helps Paige drown out the cultural noise about not being married or having kids yet. In terms of finding the right partner, she muses, quote, "Maybe he's busy doing something too, you know?" Paige is also about to start the egg freezing process with the same doctor Lindsay used. She knows that she wants to be a mother down the road, but that road is long and winding. She said there's this thing where women aren't allowed to change their minds. And I feel that with the kid thing a lot. People being like, "You said you wanted to get married and you wanted to have a baby young." And I'm like, okay, well, I used to go to a tanning bed. Whew. Get him, Paige. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait for Summer House. I cannot wait to see Paige on my screen. And frankly, I'm happy she did this interview, and I'm glad she kind of put things to bed as far as Craig goes. Because if there's anything I understand from all of her interviews is there is absolutely a double standard for how women get treated in a breakup versus how the man gets treated in a breakup. What did you guys think? I thought this was overall a really great interview. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.